The hall of the Galactic Council was larger than any city on Earth. It floated in deep space, made of shining metal and living light. Thousands of seats rose like steps toward the stars. Every powerful species in the galaxy was present there. At the very back of the hall sat the human delegation. Their chairs were small and plain compared to the others. Humans had only recently joined the galactic community. Most species still saw them as weak and primitive. In the center of the hall, a massive platform slowly rotated. Holograms showed ships, weapons, and machines from many worlds. One by one, alien races presented their newest creations. Each time, the council nodded with respect and quiet approval. Then the platform dimmed. A soft blue light appeared. It was Earth's turn. A human engineer stepped forward, his face calm but tense. Behind him, a simple-looking device appeared in the air. It was not flashy, not beautiful, not aggressive. It looked almost unfinished compared to alien technology. "This is Earth's prototype," the engineer said. "It is an adaptive energy and defense system. It learns, balances, and grows stronger under pressure." For a moment, the hall was silent. Then someone laughed. Then another. Soon, the laughter spread across the council chamber. Alien leaders leaned toward each other, mocking smiles on their faces. Screens lit up with complex equations and calculations. Council scientists quickly reviewed Earth's data. Their laughter grew louder. "These numbers make no sense," one alien said. "The energy flow will collapse in seconds." "Such unstable math would destroy the device," another added. The laughter turned cruel. Some aliens openly pointed at the humans. Others shook their heads in pity. The human engineer clenched his fists. The other humans sat still, saying nothing. They had expected doubt. But not humiliation. "The calculations are childish," announced a council elder. "Earth is clearly not ready for advanced galactic engineering. This prototype is a failure." The words echoed through the massive hall. For the first time since joining the council, humanity felt truly small. Then, from the far end of the chamber, a weak voice spoke. "Your calculations are wrong." The laughter stopped instantly. Every head turned toward the sound. Near the entrance stood an old alien woman. Her clothes were torn and dirty. Her body was thin, bent with age. She leaned on a simple metal staff. Council guards rushed toward her, angry and shocked. "How did a beggar get inside?" one shouted. But the woman raised her head and looked directly at the platform. Her eyes were sharp and focused. Nothing like a beggar's eyes should be. "Your calculations are wrong," she repeated, calmly. The council exploded with anger. "A worthless street creature dares to speak here. Remove her at once." The guards grabbed her arms. Yet the woman did not resist. She only looked at the human prototype. And she smiled. The human engineer noticed that smile. It was not foolish. It was knowing. For a brief second, her eyes met his. And in that moment, something felt wrong. Or perhaps, something felt right. As the guards dragged her away, she spoke one last time. "Earth did not fail. You did." The doors closed behind her. The council tried to return to order. But the laughter did not come back. The humans sat quietly. But inside their minds, a single question burned. Who was that woman? And how did she know? After the council session ended, the great hall slowly emptied. Alien leaders left in groups, still whispering and shaking their heads. Most of them continued to mock Earth's failed presentation. To them, the matter was already finished. The human delegation remained seated for a long moment. No one spoke. The laughter still echoed in their minds. But more than the laughter, they remembered the old alien woman. The chief human engineer finally stood up. His eyes were fixed on the exit doors. "She was not random," he said quietly. "She knew something." Some humans were unsure. "She was just a beggar," one said. "Maybe she wanted attention," another added. But the engineer shook his head. "Did you see her eyes?" he asked. They were not the eyes of someone ignorant. Outside the hall, the space station corridors were cold and busy. Council guards pushed crowds away from restricted paths. The old woman was nowhere to be seen. The humans asked questions. They searched the nearby corridors. They checked security records. But her name did not appear anywhere. It was as if she had never existed. Meanwhile, inside a private council chamber, alien elders were furious. "A beggar embarrassed us," one shouted. "She challenged our science in front of humans. That alone is unacceptable." Council scientists reviewed Earth's prototype data again. Their screens filled with advanced symbols and layered equations. Once more, they confirmed their judgment. The design was unstable by their standards. "She was wrong," one scientist declared. "Humans do not understand real energy control." Yet one junior analyst hesitated. "There is a small fluctuation here," he said softly. "A pattern we usually ignore." The elders dismissed him immediately. "Noise," they replied. "Nothing more." Back in the human quarters, the engineer could not rest. He replayed the moment again and again in his mind. The woman's voice. Her calm tone. Her smile. He opened the prototype's core data. The same calculations the council had mocked. He stared at the numbers for hours. Then he noticed something strange. The system was adapting on its own. Not correcting errors, but balancing them. Human engineers had allowed controlled instability. They believed perfection was not natural. The system learned through stress. A risky idea. One the galaxy avoided. "This is what they don't see," he whispered. Later that cycle, a silent message arrived on a human terminal. "No sender name. Only coordinates." And a single line of text. "You listened when others laughed." The engineer's heart raced. He knew instantly who it was from. Against protocol, a small human team followed the coordinates. They traveled to an old maintenance sector of the station. A place abandoned and forgotten. There, among broken lights and drifting metal, they found her. The old alien woman sat calmly, as if she had been waiting. Her posture was weak, but her presence was strong. "You came," she said. "Good." The humans approached carefully. "Who are you?" the engineer asked. She smiled slightly. "Someone who once made the same mistake as the council," she replied. "Someone who learned too late." She looked at the human engineer directly. "Your people are different," she said. "You allow systems to struggle. That is why your prototype survives." The engineer felt both fear and excitement. "What did the council miss?" he asked. The woman leaned forward, her eyes glowing softly. "They fear imbalance," she said. "But imbalance is where growth begins." As she spoke, distant alarms echoed through the station. The council had noticed the humans were missing. The woman smiled again. "You must decide quickly," she said. "Because once the galaxy understands the truth, everything will change." The alarms echoed through the empty corridors of the station. Red lights flashed against broken walls and old metal doors. The human team stood tense, unsure how much time they had left. The old alien woman remained calm. She slowly stood up, leaning on her staff. "Do not be afraid," she said. "They always panic when control slips." The chief engineer looked at her with urgency. "Tell us everything," he said. "We need to understand." The woman nodded and activated a small device hidden in her sleeve. A soft hologram appeared between them. It showed flowing energy, twisting and folding in strange ways. "Most species force energy into straight lines," she explained. "They demand order at all costs. When the system resists, they shut it down." She changed the hologram. Now the energy moved freely, adapting to pressure. "Humans," she continued, "you allow energy to struggle and adjust. You treat failure as a lesson, not an end." The engineer watched closely. "This is already inside our prototype," he said. "But we never fully trusted it." "That is why the council laughed," the woman replied. They see only what they expect. She pointed to a small variable glowing in the hologram. One factor they ignore, she said. A balance point created by imperfect decisions. The humans exchanged surprised looks. That variable appears only under stress, one said. It cannot be predicted. The woman smiled. Exactly, she said. Life cannot be predicted either. Time was running out. Security drones could be heard nearby. The engineer made a choice. We will update the prototype, he said. Right now. Using portable systems, the team connected to Earth's device remotely. They adjusted one single limit. Not adding control, but removing it. For a brief moment, the readings became chaotic. Energy levels spiked wildly. Warnings filled the screens. Then suddenly, the system stabilized. Not perfectly, but naturally. The power output increased beyond expected limits. The defense matrix adapted in real time. The prototype was no longer fragile. It was alive, in its own way. The engineer felt his breath catch. She was right, he whispered. The old woman nodded slowly. You trusted your instincts, she said. That is rare. At that moment, Council security arrived. Armed drones surrounded the humans. Step away from the unauthorized entity, a mechanical voice ordered. The engineer stepped forward. She is our guest, he said firmly. The drones paused, confused by the response. The woman smiled softly. Interesting, she said. A council transmission interrupted the standoff. The image of several alien elders appeared. Their expressions were cold and suspicious. You have violated council protocol, one elder said. You will explain yourselves. The engineer took a deep breath. Our prototype works, he said. Better than you believed. The elders laughed again. Bring it for a final test, one replied. In front of the entire council. The transmission ended. Silence filled the corridor. The engineer turned to the woman. This could destroy us, he said. She met his gaze without fear. Or define you, she replied. As the humans prepared to return, the prototype's energy surged one more time. Stable, balanced, and strong. Far away, in the council systems, sensors detected something impossible. A human design evolving on its own. And for the first time, the galaxy began to feel uncertain. The Galactic Council gathered once again. But this time, the mood was different. Whispers filled the massive hall. Screens glowed with alert symbols and warning signs. At the center platform, Earth's prototype floated silently. It looked the same as before. Simple, plain, almost unimpressive. Alien leaders watched with sharp eyes. They expected failure. They wanted proof that humans were still beneath them. The human delegation entered the hall together. Their faces were calm, but their hearts were heavy with tension. Behind them, unnoticed by most, the old alien woman stood among the shadows. Hidden, quiet, watching everything. The council elder raised his voice. This is Earth's final chance, he announced. Activate your prototype. The human engineer nodded. He took a slow breath and gave the command. The prototype powered on. At first, nothing happened. Energy levels remained low and steady. Some aliens began to smile. Others prepared to laugh again. Then the readings changed. Energy flows twisted and adapted. The device responded to pressure from the council's test systems. Instead of collapsing, the prototype adjusted. It absorbed stress. It learned. The hall grew quiet. Very quiet. Alien scientists rushed to their consoles. Their eyes widened as numbers climbed. Impossible, one whispered. The council activated stronger tests. Gravitational pressure increased. Energy weapons simulated attacks. Any normal system would have failed. But the human prototype did not. It shifted its internal balance. Redirected power. Protected itself without fixed rules. This should not work, an alien scientist shouted. At that moment, the old alien woman stepped forward. Her voice echoed across the hall. It works because it is not perfect. Gasps filled the chamber. Guards moved toward her. But the council elders raised a hand. They wanted answers. She stood tall now, no longer looking weak or broken. I once built systems like yours, she said. Rigid, controlled, afraid of failure. She pointed toward the prototype. Humans did something different. They allowed uncertainty. They allowed growth. The council tried to deny it. But the data was clear. The prototype was outperforming alien technology. The human engineer spoke. We were not trying to dominate, he said. We were trying to survive. The truth spread across the hall like fire. Aliens realized their mistake. They had mistaken control for strength. Suddenly, warning alarms rang out. The prototype's power level crossed a critical threshold. Not dangerous, but beyond anything the council could control. Fear appeared on alien faces. If humans can build this, one elder said, what will they build next? The old woman looked at the council. You laughed, she said. You ignored the truth. Now you must face it. The prototype stabilized itself. Its glow softened, balanced and calm. The hall remained silent. The galaxy had seen enough. But behind that silence, a new question was forming. Not about Earth's weakness, but about Earth's future, and whether the Council would accept humans as equals, or fear them as a threat. The silence in the Council hall felt heavy. Alien leaders looked at one another, unsure what to say. For the first time in centuries, the Galactic Council felt outmatched. The Council elder finally spoke. Earth's prototype is dangerous, he said. No single species should hold such power. Many aliens nodded in agreement. Fear had replaced their laughter. The human engineer stepped forward. His voice was calm. This power is not a weapon, he said. It is a choice. The council reacted with anger. You broke protocol, an elder shouted. You hid your true capability. We hid nothing, the engineer replied. You chose not to see. The old alien woman moved beside the humans. This moment was inevitable, she said. You built walls around progress. Humans walked through uncertainty instead. The council began to argue among themselves. Some demanded Earth's technology be seized. Others warned that forcing humans would lead to conflict. The prototype sensed the rising tension. Its systems adapted again. Not to attack, but to protect the human delegation. A transparent energy field formed around them. Smooth, stable, and calm. Gasps filled the hall. This is an act of defiance, one alien leader said. No, the engineer answered. This is self-defense. The humans stood united. They did not threaten the council. They did not beg for approval. We want cooperation, the engineer said. But we will not be controlled. The council realized something important. Humans were not trying to rule the galaxy. They simply refused to kneel. Slowly, the council elder lowered his crest. A new seat will be granted to Earth, he said. Equal status. Shock spread through the hall. No young species had ever earned such respect. The energy field faded. The prototype returned to a quiet state. The old alien woman smiled. My work is done, she said softly. The engineer turned to her. You gave us a future, he said. She shook her head. You chose it. As the humans left the council chamber, alien eyes followed them with caution and awe. Across the galaxy, news spread quickly. Humanity was no longer weak. No longer underestimated. They had been laughed at. They had been doubted. But they listened, adapted, and acted. And the galaxy finally understood one truth. Humans were never the weakest species. They were simply the most patient.